What's up, guys? Today, I'm joined once again by ValleyFlyin as we break down the top 10 best Tier 4 ability mat upgrades, also called orange mat upgrades.
Haven't we done this video before? I feel like this is deja vu.
I'm pretty sure we've done this video a couple times already. It seems like every time we rank something highly, Fox next goes ahead and nerfs it just so we have to make another video.
Yeah, in less than 2 months' time, we've had Defenders plus Punisher reworks, Ultron got a rework, they added Storm, Loki, Venom, and Mystique. They made pre-release changes to the Quake Ultimate, the Crossbones Ultimate, and others, and they clarified how Black Widow and Yondu Passives work. They fixed Hawkeye's Ultimate. I could go on, but they've changed a lot.
I agree. So, in the spirit of these changes, we're going to mix it up a little bit this time. First things first, we're not going to recap the 10 worst investments this time around. There were some small changes to that list from last time, like Jessica Jones's passive, but for the most part, that list hasn't really changed.
We are still going to break down the top 10 orange mat upgrades, but we're going to add 2 more sections at the end. The first is for players building a Defenders plus Miss Marvel or a Defenders plus Punisher team, and the second is for players building the Nick Fury plus Shield team. So if you fall into either of these groups, stay tuned till the end, because we'll be talking about those teams in more detail.
And of course, we're still going to include those cheesy puns. So I'll go ahead and start us off. Clawing into the number 10 spot is Black Panther with his passive. Black Panther is a tricky character to use, and he suffers from being a non-essential pick for almost all content. Nevertheless, he is great for what he does do, and when it comes to cleaning up raid nodes, nobody does it better. Black Panther's passive improves to 100% turn meter on kill, up from 80%, and he stores that turn meter. This means, for example, if he kills 3 targets with his ult, he's guaranteed to take 3 more turns. Any kills he gets during those additional turns will only add more immediate turns. He also benefits greatly from the recent addition of many characters that grant or provide counterattacks or assists to heroes, like Miss Marvel and Nick Fury, as he does get a reset both when he kills a target with his assist, as well as when there's a kill resulting from another character assisting during his turn. In a turn-based game, more turns is a huge boost, and if you set him up properly, he can spiral out of control. When I first saw this upgrade, I thought to myself, what kinda OP skill is this?
Dropping in at number 9, the only minion to make the list this time around, Mercenary Lt for his special. It goes from giving speed up and offense up to 4 allies to giving speed up and offense up to 10 allies. This is great for players that run teams with summoners. Also, with the meta favoring tech comps more recently, Mercenary Lt is getting better. In addition, we're seeing the game favor trait-based content, so investing in one of the few characters that can apply speed up to an entire team has gotten even more rewarding. This upgrade will have you calling the shots next payday event.
Phasing in at number 8 is Vision for his basic. This gives Vision 50% more damage to the primary target, 50% more damage to the secondary target, a 50% chance to deal another 220% damage to a third target, and it also increases the damage dealt by the bleeds from this attack by 15%, as well as improving his counterattacks and assists. It's a terrific bang for your buck, especially when you can offense down a third target. A lot of people wanted us to include this ability last time around. We didn't foresee the meta shifting to favor tech-heavy teams so much. I guess you could say we lacked vision.
Flying in at number 7 is Storm for her basic. Storm was a tricky one for us to rate because she's only particularly useful for raids in Dark Dimension, and very few players can even bring her into Dark Dimension this patch. However, there is no denying that she is good at what she does, and she does it very well. Upgrading her basic not only increases the damage for that ability, but it also allows her to stack 5 more charges, which can translate to 500% more damage on her ultimate. As players push farther into raids, Storm only sees more opportunities to unleash her ultimate, and when you see what an extra 500% damage does for you, you'll be shocked.
Sneaking in at number 6 is Black Widow for her passive. This upgrade is still very good, it's just not as good as we originally thought. Now knowing that it doesn't take effect until someone takes action, it severely handicaps this ability where it would have benefited players the most: first turn order in Arena. That said, it's still a terrific investment since Black Widow is already very fast, and the sooner she can speed up her team, the more of an advantage it creates. This compounding speed still makes it one of the best upgrades in the game for one of the best characters in the game. If I were you, comrade, I'd be rushing to upgrade her passive.
Shooting up to the number 5 spot is Korath for his ultimate. This upgrade adds 120% damage to an already devastating turn 1 ability. This adds just under 8,000 damage to a maxed out Korath, bringing the total damage up to over 37,000. This upgrade adds more wrath to Korath and sets him on a warpath. Trust me, because I've done the math, and you're in for a bloodbath, and it just...
Jeez, Valley, you psychopath. Rocketing in at number 4 is, Rocket for his special. This upgrade adds 30% more damage, but it also guarantees an ally assist on the attack up from 50% chance. This adds, on average, just shy of 10,000 damage to an already devastating turn 1 ability that can be used every 3rd turn. Combined with the fact that an increasing number of characters are applying debuffs with their assist, I'd say upgrading this ability is a pretty good plan.
Seizing the number 3 spot is Thanos with his passive. This upgrade guarantees that Thanos grants 2 ability energy per kill to himself or an adjacent cosmic ally, up from 75%. Ability energy is the rage these days, and with the inclusion of things like cosmic lanes in raids, as well as more of the player base pushing deeper into cosmic and mystic campaigns, things are only looking up for Thanos. I'd upgrade this in a snap.
That said, shaking things up in the number 2 spot is Quake with her ultimate. Although the devs went ahead and nerfed this upgrade just before it went live, it still adds 50% more damage to an already devastating AoE. Combine this with the fact that Quake already sees a ton of action on just about any roster, and you've got a compelling upgrade which, when maxed, can end up dealing over an extra 35,000 damage when used against enough enemies. I recommend upgrading this if you're looking to make some waves.
Slinking into the number 1 spot, making her 2nd appearance on the list, is Black Widow for her ultimate. Black Widow is already a top pick on any team, and this upgrade just makes her strengths that much stronger. Upgrading this ability adds 60% more damage to the primary target, but it also adds a whopping 50% more damage to each additional target. In addition, it also increases the amount of damage the bleeds applied with this ability do, and considering that she applies 2 stacks for 2 turns to each additional target, this can end up improving the damage across 12 bleeds. When successfully chaining all 3 times, this upgrade adds over 23,000 damage. Upgrading this ability gives her damage quite a jolt.
Indeed. So, real quick, some of you may be wondering why Yondu's passive is no longer on the list. Well, they recently reworded his passive and have clarified the functionality of the ability, so stay tuned until the very end for our honorable mention section, where we will explain the current state of Yondu's passive. Well, moving on, we're going to talk about the Defenders teams and the Fury Shield teams. We'll go ahead and start with the Defenders team, so Valley, why don't you take this one?
So, when it comes to the Defenders, you've got 2 main choices for that 5th spot: Punisher or Miss Marvel. Punisher offers a lot more damage, especially against villains. Alternatively, Miss Marvel offers more sustainability, as she provides even more ability energy, as well as a backup taunt that makes the Defenders a very, very difficult team to take down. For these, we would just list them in the order we would progress. On that note, the first upgrade we recommend is Iron Fist's passive. At the end of the day, you always want to make your strengths even stronger, and stepping up to a 40% chance to heal on turn, as well as increasing the heal everybody receives at max by more than 8,000 HP, is a massive boost in survivability, making the Defenders even better at what they do, staying in the fight. Next up is Jessica Jones's basic. So a lot of the Defenders team's damage comes from counters and assists, especially if you're running the Miss Marvel variant of the team. Not only does this upgrade improve JJ's damage on her basic and bonus attack, but it also gives her the ability to bonus attack a 2nd time, as well as generate extra ability energy from that bonus attack. This upgrade also guarantees 1 ability energy for a random Defender ally, in addition to the ability energy it already can generate. This means it will improve her raw damage, improve her counter assist damage, and improve the ability to potentially generate 4 ability energy up from only 2. With that kind of energy flying around, your abilities will always be available, and your Defender team will be truly unbreakable. Next up is Miss Marvel or Punisher's passive. So now things get interesting. Ultimately, if you're running a Defenders comp, you want to invest in both Miss Marvel and Punisher. And we do realize that orange mats are quite difficult to come by right now. So currently you have to pick one of those in short term. So whether you feel you need more offense or defense, it's up to you. However, either way, you want to upgrade one of these passives. Miss Marvel's passive improves to 100% chance to assist hero brawlers, up from 80%, as well as 100% chance to grant an assist to a hero brawler on her own turn, also up from 80%. This one is pretty straightforward. More assists equals more damage, and more damage equals more dead enemies. Punisher's passive is pretty similar. It improves to 100% chance to assist on any defender turn when you're using a non-damaging ability, which is up from 50%. And it also improves the damage by 40% when retaliating if Daredevil is attacked. This passive translates into more damage, plain and simple. Next is Miss Marvel or Punisher's basic. The only real rule here is that you want to upgrade the basic attack of whichever character you previously upgraded the passive for. Miss Marvel gains 20% more damage, while Punisher sees 40% more damage to his primary, as well as additional targets. However, more important than that damage actually granted to the basic is the improvement to counterattacks and assist. The damage on counters and assists scale with the basic attack level, and both of these characters will do a lot of countering and assisting on a defender's team, so the payoff on what seems like a small damage increase is massive when you consider how much attacking these characters will actually do. Each character will end up dealing the vast majority of the damage on the defender's comp. And coming in at number 5 is Iron Fist's basic. As previously mentioned, the defender team does a lot of assisting as well as counterattacking, thanks to the Daredevil Special. Iron Fist gets great value for this basic, as he not only gets 40% damage to the primary target, but he also is now guaranteed to chain to 2 additional targets. Hitting 3 people with each basic is a significant boost in damage, and the improved counterattacks and assists also see a lot of mileage in any defender's match. The decision to upgrade Iron Fist's basic over Daredevil's was a close call, but always hitting 3 targets with a basic acts as small compensation for general lack of AoE on the team, so we gave this one a nod. And that concludes my top 5 picks for the defenders team. Khasino, what would you advise for the Fury plus Shield teams out there?
So I've been getting a lot of hands-on experience with my Fury Shield team, so I'm happy to take this one. First and foremost, Nick Fury's passive. Nick Fury's passive is absolutely game-changing. It improves to a 50% chance to grant speed up to the entire Shield team every time Nick Fury takes a turn, which is incredibly powerful on its own. It also gains another 10% chance to grant an assist at the start of any turn. So many of the powerful tools in the Fury Shield kit are also found in their assists, including things like Operative's Dispel, Medic's Offense Down, and most importantly, all that delicious turn meter rewind. You also get situations where Security applies a slow with his assist and is then able to stun on turn 1 with the special, which is, again, insanely powerful. Assists go a long way for this team, so improving to 30% chance for an assist on every hero's turn is also a huge plus, which makes this upgrade easily my pick for the number 1 spot. Coming in at number 2, Shield Assault's passive. The other main engine behind the Fury Shield team's success is Turn Meter Rewind, which occurs on crits. Shield Assault's passive improves to plus 50% crit for the entire team, which ultimately puts everyone at 60% crit when you factor in their base crit. 4 of the 6 members of the team greatly benefit from additional crits. Medic, Trooper, and Operative will successfully rewind more turn meter, and Fury will grant more ability energy. This doesn't even factor in the Fury summons that can benefit from the crits, and that alone is plenty value enough, but of course the entire team landing 10% more crits also sees a noticeable improvement in damage for the entire team, and more damage for the entire team is obviously a big win. Number 3, I give the nod to Shield Medic's passive. So the Fury Shield team are exceptionally good at weathering just about any storm, in large part due to their insane sustain. This upgrade only serves to push that survivability even farther. Medic's passive heals the most injured ally for 20% of her max health, as well as applying regen for 2 turns. If the unit is shield, she will apply 2 stacks regen for 2 turns. Regen stacks heal for 20% of the provider's max health, which means this passive heals other members of the shield team for 20% of her max health immediately, 40% of her max health on their next turn, and 40% on the turn after that, which is ultimately 100% of shield medic's health for free simply by taking a turn. Increasing the likelihood this happens by 20%, bringing it up to 50%, is absolutely insane when you think about giving out 100% max HP and healing every other turn on average. It's not uncommon to see this passive proc 2, 3, even 4 times in a row, which is more than enough to literally handle all of the healing the team needs for a good amount of content. Coming in at number 4, I give it to Nick Fury's Ultimate. This upgrade is also a terrific value for many reasons. Not only does it increase the damage and the base stats of the summons themselves, but it also adds a 50% chance to score a third summon. Obviously, more team members equals more winning. However, an often unconsidered benefit of this ability is that it raises the ability levels of the summons to level 7 as well. This is particularly big for shield security, as level 7 on his special actually deals an additional 100% damage, which is massive. It also guarantees more counterattack stacks when the operative is summoned with the level 5 passive. If anyone was wondering, by the way, this ability will always summon one operative and one security, and then it's a coin flip between an additional operative or an additional security for that third spot. And finally, at number 5, as previously mentioned, Shield Security's Special. Honestly, I don't even know what to say here. This character already hits unreasonably hard considering he's a tank. At only rank 6, without a crit, a maxed shield security will hit for over 33,000 damage. If the ability crits on both swings, it can do over 43,000 damage. So what does this upgrade provide? Another 50% damage to both the first and second attack. With crits, which are 60% likely on this team, a maxed shield security with a level 7 special can deal over 50,000 damage. Many characters have under 60,000 health at max, including Quake, Rocket, Vision, Black Widow, among others, so you can get an idea of what this special can do. Not to mention that there's a fair chance this attack will also get assisted. Did I mention it's available on turn 1? So yeah, this ability definitely earns the number 5 spot. But alright, so that about wraps it up. But first, I'm going to throw it back to ValleyFlyin as he recaps some of the honorable mentions.
Alright, and here they are in no particular order. We considered Black Widow's special. It was changed to stay at 60% chance to grant speed up to non-Avenger and non-shield allies. Originally, it was going up to 80%. Instead, it now removes one negative effect per Avenger ally. This is still a strong upgrade, and you definitely want to consider it if you use Black Widow all the time, but the cleanse only impacting Avenger units is a bit narrow, and typically people only have her paired with Captain and sometimes Vision or Hawkeye, meaning this would benefit 2, sometimes 3 characters, and it would only benefit in situations where those characters have debuffs in the first place. We also consider Venom Special, as it literally doubles Venom's effective damage. This upgrade is easily the biggest improvement any character can see with a single upgrade, as it allows his special to apply 3 bleed stacks for 2 turns, thus making it far more likely that his ult spreads 3 stacks of bleeds to any adjacent enemies, which can be massive. However, Venom is still a slug, and his focus in the absence of Spider-Man is mediocre at best, so unfortunately for Venom, he still won't see a lot of play. We also consider Star-Lord's ult because it adds another 70% damage to an already immensely powerful turn 1 burst, and if you run Star-Lord often, you may still want to consider this upgrade, but often this damage either ends up being just overkill or still not being enough to successfully one-shot. So while it can still be significant, unfortunately, we don't see it being the case quite often enough to make the top 10. We also considered both Spider-Man's basic and passive. While both of these upgrades do provide a significant boost for the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, unfortunately, he just doesn't see that much playtime in the current meta, as he's often too squishy without sustain for modes like Raid and Dark Dimension, and he isn't able to participate in the Cosmic or Mystic campaigns. That said, if you run Spider-Man a lot, both of these upgrades are very solid options. Finally, we chose this time to omit Yondu's passive. They recently changed the wording on the passive to clarify the interaction we've been seeing. So many people have been reporting that the ability wasn't working. In reality, The way the passive works is as follows. Yondu picks a random enemy, and if they have a buff, he steals it. Then he picks another random enemy, and if they have a buff, he steals it. The original assumption was that Yondu would scan the field, go after any buffs that were available, but in reality, Yondu can randomly select 2 people on the enemy team that don't have any buffs. Even if all the alternative enemies do have buffs, when you factor in that this can also be resisted, and that certain buffs like defense up and stealth fall off immediately when Yondu's turn ends, you realize he doesn't reap quite the benefit we originally expected. He does still fully benefit from deflect, evade, counterattack, deathproof, offense up, and regen, and he does benefit from stealing 2-turn versions of defense up, speed up, and stealth. So this ability is still very strong and quite worthwhile as an investment. However, given the now slightly limited scope, we feel it doesn't quite break into the top 10.
Whew, that was a lot to get through. I think it's time we wrap this up. So thanks as always for joining me on this Valley. Why don't you tell the people where they can find you?
Well, thanks for having me, and you can check me out on YouTube. On my channel for more Marvel Strike Force content, and I also live stream on Mondays, Thursdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 p.m. Pacific, and I always simulcast on both YouTube and Twitch.
And I always try to tune into those Valley streams if I can make it. You never know what kind of crazy shenanigans and leaks might randomly spill out. That said, as for me, I stream Marvel Strike Force every single day on Twitch at twitch.tv/Khasino every day at 1 p.m. Pacific time. And also, I will be attending all of TWITCHCON. So if you'll be around the San Jose area this weekend, swing by TWITCHCON and we can definitely meet up. Otherwise, this video has gone on plenty long enough for now, so I will see you guys after TWITCHCON. Peace!